Jay here for Scotty and Motty. I'm Motty, you're Motty, I should say, shouldn't I? No, I'm Motty, you're Scotty. Yeah? Is that right?
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
20 years. We got there in the end anyway. We're here, we're back, and we're live. So get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think about anything, everything, because as you probably know by now, there's no real sort of structure to this. There's no format, is there? This is just the rantings of two bald Mancunians.
Two bald? You've got me out on air, man. It's all a wig. Yeah, there's no format to it at all. And what we really enjoy is that your comments tend to lead the conversation a lot of the time. So that's always the last one. Make sure you get involved. Anything that's been going on around the world, topical, anything. Someone said today we discussed the concept of time.
Right, okay. That's a good one, that. Because I think time's overrated.
You think time's overrated?
Yeah, as a concept. Do you know what I mean? It's never anything good, is it? Time. Do you know what I mean? Running out of time, or it's almost time.
Never on time.
Yeah, not on time. Do you know what I mean? Just get rid of it, man.
Yeah, I mean, time is a good segue to how I want to open the show tonight. So obviously we're going to be talking about Ronaldo probably leaving.
Face against the microphone.
Leaving Old Trafford.
Scotty's mic's off, I think. Getting some chat in there. Can you? Oh, is he's back? Scotty's mic back on? Give us a shout in the chat and let us know. It says there, Scotty's mic. There you go. Scotty, give us a 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, live on air. Here we go.
It's on now. There we go. So they missed all that. Shout them from you, Scotty. Let's do it all again, shall we?
Okay, so there's no format to... Yeah, so there's no format to the show, and obviously we're going to be talking about Ronaldo leaving Manchester United at some point, but I wanted to start on a really good, positive note this evening. No.
Why?
Why?
Right, how long have me and you known each other?
Well, it's to do with me and you why I wanted to start on a positive note.
Right, okay.
Are we allowed to do it?
If you want. Me and you being positive, it's weird, but go on, I'll let you.
Okay.
I'll allow you.
I've known Jay now for 20 years, and 8 years ago last week, we were in Brazil. Was it Atlanta? Atlanta, and he had his last drink, and then this week it was 8 years sobriety, wasn't it?
It was 8 years sobriety.
And
yes.
I've known Jay on the roller coaster of his life, and been a passenger alongside it with many people, and it's been full of ups and downs and roundabouts and crashes, and it's amazing.
I think co-pilot would be more accurate. You want to use the word passenger, but I would have said co-pilot. You've been an active...
I'm building you up here. Yeah, I was an active influencer.
Sorry, brother.
You absolute bastard. Right, but I wanted to say congratulations, because I'm proud of you, man, and it's amazing that what you've done and you sort of turn your life around and become the person you are today. So I got you a little gift.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised at this. This is genuinely, and it's... Oh, is that Fluttershy, one of my favourite My Little Ponies?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it Twilight Sparkle? I always get mixed up. Wow. Oh. I thought this is really everyone, is it? Look at this, eh? And do you know what? I've not had Pepsi Max cherry for a while. Me and me better half quit fizzy drinks, but I'll be having it tonight.
Celebrate.
I'll be celebrating. If you can get there, you go. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Right. No,
and thanks for all your support. I know we did this, I think, was it last year? You said you're all right to talk about 7 years as it was then. And we did. And, you know, listen, I haven't got all the answers for anyone, but if anyone is struggling with addiction or whatever, please feel free to chat about it. I got quite a lot of messages when I tweeted about it. And it's basically a thank you when I get to a milestone like this. Thank you to people like you, my family, who've put up with a lot of shit over the years and stuck by me and make my life, make it easy for me to stay clean and sober. And I got a lot of people messaging me saying, it's great, Jay, that you always talk about, you're always open about it, you're honest about it. And I am, do you know what I mean? If anyone wants, it made me laugh because I tweeted it. And someone replied, alcoholic. And I was like, yeah. No flies on you, son. You must have been top of your class.
That was it. That was it.
Otherwise, it would have been a bit of a crap tweet.
Wow.
I mean, it's sober. I call it no. Just don't drink. All right, okay. So yeah, a lot of people have messaged me. A lot of people messaged us during lockdown as well, saying it was helpful, and we're quite honest and open about any struggles we have, because I think it does matter. So yeah, thanks to everyone who's sort of got in touch and been supportive. And listen, it's it affects so many people, not just addiction, but other forms of mental issues, if you can call it that, or illnesses or whatever. And I think it is important, man, in this day and age. Life's hard enough without sort of feeling ashamed of something you're going through.
I mean, and that's what's amazing about you, because going through recovery is one thing, but you're putting yourself out there and being dissed as an alcoholic on social media, but you're using your platform to say, like, you know, stuff to be ashamed about and talk about it and stuff. And it's an amazing, honestly, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. We'll stop this bit now because it's getting a little bit too much.
I know with you, I know you don't blow smoke up my ass, so I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate the support as well, brother, because I love doing this podcast. We did it in lockdown, you know, and we enjoy it, and it was a top relief when I was in lockdown just to have that little hour or whatever a week and just have a chat and a catch up, because it was weird, wasn't it, when we bumped into each other after 2 years. We felt like we'd seeing each other loads, and we hadn't.
Like.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it's you. So thanks to loads of people saying congratulations, Joe Ross Murphy, Ollie Aston, congratulations, Jay. Jake speaks, hey, balled it. I have a cigarette addiction, want to quit it badly. It took me a little while, actually. I quit on and off with cigarettes, mate. It's actually money was the weird thing that made me quit cigarettes. Daniel Monk says, congratulations on your anniversary, Jay. Altered Shape says, admitting you have an issue or have had an issue makes a healing process. But yeah, it does. I've had a few people who get in touch and a few mates as well. I was talking about this earlier, you know, mate who's going through it and he got in touch and, you know, I was able to have a good chat with him. And I think it affects so many people and, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of at all. So do feel free to WhatsApp or whatever, or get in touch, Insta or on the chat. Just get involved in the comments. We appreciate all your support as always. And hit that like button. We're on over 100 people watching, which is good.
Nice.
But only 19 likes. Well, 20 likes now. Let's have 100 likes, yeah? That's what we want. We want 100 likes.
What can be their excuse if there's 100 of them out there and have not pressed like? There's no excuse, really.
Anti-Mancunianism.
I mean, what do we get money if they press like?
I'll give you some money if you want.
You owe me money.
I always owe you money, don't I?
On the way down here, can you get some milk?
Oh, you're charging me for that? Milk?
And I'm putting petrol prices on top of it. It's the most expensive bottle of milk you've ever bought. Let's put it that way. £4 for it.
We used to have a guy that worked here, right? And I'm not going to name names, but his name's Cam. Oh. And he went to work for United. And if you asked him to get him something from the shop on his lunch hour, he'd take another hour. And then he said, well, you wanted them Mentos.
I quite admire that.
Yeah. I'd go like, where the fuck, have you been? And he'd go, well, you asked me to get, that bottle of Pepsi Max Cherry. I was like, it was in the same shop you've been in.
No, I admire
the hustle.
That. The hustle.
I did admire the hustle from the kid. He was a good lad as well, so I couldn't get too angry with him. We have got a sort of topic behind us, haven't we? And I've only spoken about this 5 times in the last 2 days.
Yeah, but you've not got my opinion on it.
I haven't got your opinion on it. And I'm interested in your opinion. I feel like a bit of a fraud on this conversation, on this topic. Because, you're not the only high flyer on this channel, Scotty. I was on Sky Sports the other day. They asked me my opinion on it. And my opinion was, I'm not really bothered.
Just what they wanted.
Yeah. I had to apologise to the guy. He's like, oh, fella, that was great. I was like, I'm sorry. I was being honest. I'm like, I'm not that surprised. I'm not that gutted. I just feel like I'm just done with it all. And it's like, if he wants to go, let him go. I don't think trying to keep him against his will do anyone any good, including Manchester United Football Club. And also, I think that if we are to have, and I hate this word, Scotty, so forgive me, any form of proper sort of reset or whatever, any sort of proper overall, then maybe it does involve Cristiano Ronaldo moving on, because he's a very tight player. He scored a lot of goals last season, but I think maybe we need to move on.
No, I agree with you. And I think the first question that came out when Ten Hag took over at United was regarding how does Cristiano Ronaldo fit into a Ten Hag, team, because obviously with the high pressing and that. And my only downside of it is the timing that he's come out. He could have said it a couple of months ago, because United weren't getting Champions League football from when? November?
I know,
do you know what I mean? It was always on the cards. But I don't hold any ill will to him. I find some of the hysteria online where you've got grown men actually upset that a 37-year-old man doesn't want to play for the football club anymore.
Yeah.
It's a little bit embarrassing. He's paid his dues, and the other thing that comes out on social media is he's going to go to Chelsea and it'll completely ruin his legacy. And I'm like, well, not unless he gets in a fucking DeLorean with Martin McFly and goes back and starts, rewriting history. It's not. Their memories are still valid,
And also, I'll get to some of the comments in the chat. It's good to see Straight Up D firing shots as always in the chat. I was saying this on the Paddock podcast today, which is a slightly inferior version of this one. I don't think him go to Chelsea bothers me. And also, this is how far we done fell. If he goes to Chelsea and wins the league, he's probably done us a favour.
Yeah.
Because he stopped Liverpool or City winning it, and we ain't going to stop him this season, are we? So I know that's proper too, Bob, and forgive me, but I'm not bothered. I'm not that emotionally invested with Chelsea. If he went to City, I'd have been gutted. Went to the Scousers, that's unthinkable. But Chelsea, Yeah, and if he does win the league, which I don't think he would, but if he did, then at least it's not one of our real rivals.
I've never classed Chelsea as a rival. Even during the Mourinho time, they were never classed as proper rivals. And I've got another theory behind it as well that makes it a little bit easier. This is a 37-year-old man that would probably have to carry the team for a second season that would be going through some sort of revolution under Ten Hag. That would be a massive burden on him to do on his, on his body. And now he's got to go to Chelsea and fill in the boots of Romelu Lukaku. I mean, what's the easier gig?
Could do that in a week, couldn't he? I've matched his goal scoring than last season in these 3 games. Yeah, so I'm winning. No, I agree. I think it's a weird one we're running it because I always feel, and you know, obviously I don't know why I'm saying this because you will, but let me know what your thoughts. Like with Ronnie, he is a legend in a way, or he's very high respected at United because he won the Ballon d'Or, he won the Champions League, he was our top scorer that season with 42 goals. And he won 3 titles. But there's always been that, just that little thing maybe with certain fans and a little bit of a feeling that despite all those things, he's not quite at the top of the sort of legend tree because he's not really had that kind of affinity with the club. Do you get that, or do you think I'm over-exaggerating it?
I agree with you to an extent, to be honest. I think that, even in his own mind, I think he'll look back on his career when it's finished as him being Real Madrid player and United were, for the want of a better word, a stepping stone for him to go to the club that he wanted to go to. And I think that might be the reason why he doesn't make that sort of top tier. I mean, I'd say Rooney would probably more, in the modern era, is probably seen as more of a legend at United than Ronaldo. And he's done what he's done at United, and I've got no ill will towards him. And he didn't have to. He came back last summer, and I think he probably expected United not to be the absolute car crash that it is. I thought that it might have a chance at Champions League football, not scraping for battle of the top 8.
When he came back, I know me and you spoke about it a lot, but I can't remember what our exact conversation was. What did you expect? Did you think, here we go, 21 is coming? Did you think this is going to end in tears? Forgive me if I know we've had this chat, but what was your opinion of it?
It was just nice to see him come back because in the state of the club, there was very little to romanticise about it. I was never Solskjaer's biggest fan, as you know, as I mentioned on many podcasts. It was just nice to sort of see a narrative that I could jump behind and say, all right, well, it might end in tears. And I actually put out before he came to United, Juventus want to get rid of him. Let's just have the last dance at Old Trafford and stuff. And that was like 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. Because I just thought it might be a nice, positive story. And whilst many people might say that it didn't work out last year, his goals say differently. And it was something to celebrate last season and what was a very, very, probably our darkest season in the Premier League.
No, I agree. And, that game against Newcastle, where he made his second debut, or whatever you want to call it, the atmosphere. I mean, those sort of few weeks, we had the Leeds game, which is the first game, obviously, battering them again. Old Trafford was packed. That was great. It felt great. And then there was a little bit of a lull on there. And then Ronnie comes in. And I remember sort of everyone was so excited. The tickets were like rocking horse shit, weren't they? Like everyone wanted a ticket. They were going for silly money. And it felt great. It was so exciting, especially for me. I was convinced he was going to sit. And that would have taken his legacy. Seeing him walk through the tunnel in the Derby Day, obviously, in a City shirt. And, obviously, if he'd gone there, he would have won the title regardless of how many games he played, or maybe even got him over the line in the Champions League. That would have been horrible. So yeah, when I was thinking, can't believe this is happening, then to see him come at United, it felt even better. And there was that, use the word romanticised, and I do get carried away, and I did get a little bit carried away. I was thinking, you never know, you know what I mean? I didn't think we'd win the league, but I'm more deluded than most. I was like, Champions League, Ronnie.
I thought it was possible.
Yeah, because me and you spoke about it many a time. You can win the Champions League by not being the best team in the Champions League. You can win the Champions League like Porto in 2004 or Liverpool in 2005, Chelsea in 2012. You can just have a decent team who gets the rub of the green. So I was thinking we could do this, and obviously that didn't happen. But I never in my wildest dreams imagined how badly it'd end up as a club, as a team.
Oh yeah.
Not for him personally, because I think you think no matter what you're going to get 20 goals out on it, and we did. But for Ollie to get sacked so soon after Ronnie arrived, for this guy I'd never heard of really coming in, and that to go so south so quickly, and just the whole sort of season, just the way some of the things that went on and happened, getting battered twice off the Scousers, and City just treating us like a training game, and obviously all the sort of drama that went on last season. And Ronnie, in a way, was one of the few people who just got on with his job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's sad to say, but because you expect more than just, players getting on with it. But he did, and his teammates, a lot of his teammates just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, and if like one of the arguably the greatest player ever of all time to come into the dressing room isn't it enough for you to get off your ass and put in a better performance, then it's just embarrassing and just says more about the players that he had around him than Ronaldo himself. And despite the car crash that was going on around him, he was still scoring goals. And I'm not buying this narrative where people are saying he was the architect of United's downfall last season, because that's absolute bollocks. I'm tired of reading the same thing week in, week out on social media, and even more so over the last couple of days, when saying that it was against United's tactics and stuff, nothing to do with Solskjaer's incompetence or Ralph Rangnick's fucking lack of experience or lack of any sort of nous how to manage a football team. I just find it's insulting to the man, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've got loads of comments, so we're going to get into them, so I'll keep updated with the comments. C101 said 109 viewers and not 300 likes. It's pathetic, Jay. We've now got 188 viewers and 59 likes. Let's have at least 100 likes. Hit that like button. Miles says, I've had a YouTube account since 2005. Early doors there, bro. Have maybe 20 liked videos. I just watch and save for later and share and such. Never been a liker. Fair enough.
Change that.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's the day.
He's also says he doesn't have Facebook or Instagram. This is a guy who's, he's ploughing his own furrow here. I'll tell you what, bro, you don't conform, do you? Hey,
Well
that's what we like, non-conformity. Rebel, yeah, that's like us, sort of. Archie Sanderson says, depressing question for you, lads. Do you think we're more than halfway into the Glazers' reign? P.S. Whose head is going to turn in Love Island, Jay? I don't know, man. I've seen him. Is it Demi? There's already. You won't know.
Don't ask me.
He don't. He's addressed that one to me anyway. That I think. I think Andrew, his head will turn. I think Sasha as well. They're not made for each other, are they? Yeah. Do you think we're halfway into the Glazers' reign?
I think it's for them to leave. It'll only have to get worse.
Yeah.
Really. So I mean, that's when it goes to shit this season. I was kind of thinking, if there was a relegation battle, it wouldn't be the worst thing on earth.
No, I mean, would you? I've had this question. I think it was Scott the Beast, my mate from back home, who's a lunatic on Twitter. Was like, would you take relegation if it got rid of the Glazers?
Yeah,
I would.
Easily.
My dad talks about the season we got relegated like it was the best season ever.
Yeah. Most people are.
Yeah, he's like the way he talks about it, you think it was like, winning the Champions League.
My mates that are City fans had far better away days when they were shit than they have since they've been most successful.
I can see that.
I'd bang up for that.
Yeah, we'll take it. And like Scotty says, we'll have to see what happens in terms of how long we're into it. Daniel Monk says, what if we bundled with Phil Jones or Eric Bailly? Chelsea, we know you need a striker, but how about you take one of these totally available and overpriced centre-backs? I think he means that Ronnie go to Chelsea. Yeah, maybe we could throw in Jones and Bailly. I don't think they're going anywhere, are they?
No.
They're set for life, aren't they? Now, especially Jones. He's like...
Them two couldn't find a club in the McVitie's factory.
Nice. Dave Robottom says, yes, boys, up to Scotty and Motty. Josh W says, your tweet, Scotty, about grown men shouting zoo was class. What was it? Let's find it. Was this the one where you were...
Yeah, I was saying that the who I feel sorry for is the grown men that last, was it August, were buying United shirts and putting Ronaldo on the back of their shirt and jumping around in the front room, having the wife to film them going Sue. I think it's going to take a while for them to get over the departure of Ronaldo, but I think the kids will be okay because they get over things a lot faster.
Yeah.
Go on. What do you think about that?
What?
Grown men jumping round doing Sue.
Do you know what it is, right, Scotty? I'll be honest with you. I've always had this sort of thing with football and football fans and celebrations and stuff. Each to their own, right? I've always thought this. You know what? There's a lot of things I don't agree with. But you're my mate and you're asking me. So between me and you, I do find it a bit cringe. Grown men, like, I'm a bit like... My lad, right? This is the one thing I'm grateful for Ronnie coming back for as well. Is my missus took my youngest to the Villarreal game, I think, where Ronnie scored the penalty. She loved it. Had a buzz. I took my lad he's been to a few games this season. Took him to the Chelsea game when Ronnie scored. Do you know who Ronnie is? They'll be like, that's Ronaldo. But they know who he is. There's a few others they know, but he's one of them. And my lad was buzzing when Ronaldo scored. Saw Ronaldo, he scored a goal. My lad did Sue. My lad's 7 years old. That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's fine. I'm 42. I ain't joining him with it. Do you know what I mean? So... I don't like to denigrate anyone, and you're celebrating things, that's fine. But it's like, when you come out of Old Trafford and like you're walking across the forecourt and you hear Sue and you look around and you see like what looks like, the contents of a working men's club, and you're like, really? We're doing this? Do you know what I mean?
What was the line you quoted from the wire before?
How far we done fell.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
me sick,
how far we
motherfucker,
done
how
fell.
far we done fell. I know. It's like,
You know what? Do it in your front room. Fine.
Yeah.
Why have you got to film it?
Yeah,
why
I
have you
mean-
got your missus taking multiple retakes of you doing it?
it feels a bit
clicks.
Scouse to me, that.
Yeah.
You know, like the Scousers get the grandma out in the garden, don't they, with the flags they've made.
Yeah.
And you can see it's freezing, and she's like, "Have I got her all this?" She's like, "Shut up and all this. It's funny. It's content." And it's like, yeah. Tell you what would be really funny is if I'm one of these who does a sue in my front room, film that for us. I'm like, really? Yeah. Like kids and all that, yeah, fine, but. No, I'm not into it. Matt Bragger says, was thinking about the Ronnie situation in work today. Thought this could bring Bruno into play as a false nine like Tadic did for Ajax under Ten Hag instead of us spending 50 million plus on a replacement. Do you know what I like? That's a good point. Do you know what worries me sometimes is when people... Great to see Notch as well in the chat. I'll get to your comment in a minute. People make suggestions like that. Or they ask questions. And you go, okay, yeah, maybe that could work, maybe not. You know, it's... And then automatically people go... Glazonomics. Is that what you want, Glazonomics? And I think, well, not everyone's trying to push the agenda of let's save the Glazers' money. We're not trying to do that. But there is a worthwhile question is, can Ten Hag make this work without going out and buying a big-name striker? You know, he's done similar things-ish at Ajax. Do you think it works without a big signing coming in as a striker, or do you think we need to buy someone?
I don't know who do we get that's out there at the moment. I mean, I think we mentioned the last time with... good old Uncle Ralph in January identified 10 strikers and the Glazers didn't want to buy anyone. And I understand like when people start pushing back with Glazonomics, but this is a situation that Ten Hag finds himself in, and he is going to have to work out how to put the jigsaw together without Ronaldo. Dembele at Lille, I think, is a decent striker we could get maybe for 20 million. But for me, you said it when you were opening this part of the topic, was that we need this sort of reset now, and I think Ronaldo might have held us back for another season. And as much as it might pain a lot of United fans, we ain't winning shit this year. Even more so now because I don't think we're going to get the goals to maybe get a decent cup run. But I think now what we do is we've got the opportunity to give a bit of a free hit of a season to Ten Hag, where he can get his set out, his stall and what he wants, and then identify for the following season. It might be a painful season again for United.
No, I agree. You know, I said this the other day, I think, when I was doing, I think it was again when I was on that Sky thing, I said, all I can do is talk for myself as a fan. I've got to be patient with Ten Hag because I think he's got a difficult job on. That's hardly the most insightful comment I've ever made. But I think, you know, we can't be going, well, he should be challenging anyway because we're Man United. It doesn't work like that.
He's got the hardest job post Ferguson for me.
100% agree with that. He's got none of the Fergie team left now, really. David De Gea.
Yeah.
That's it. He's got none of the sort of you know, if you look at it, all right, we've got a decent academy, but there's not. I think, you know, we've obviously won the FA Youth Cup. I still feel a lot of these players are a couple of seasons away from being ready for the first team. You've just lost a load of players. Now, you may not rate Paul Pogba or Juan Mata or Nemanja Matic or Edinson Cavani or Jesse Lingard, but those are players that would have played games for you. Those are players that could have been effective for you, and you've lost them all.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not a help to lose all those players. You've also got so many players who are coming off their worst ever season. For me, and you have by all means disagree with me, Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Scott McTominay, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think they've had their worst seasons ever in the Premier League last season. I do. I just think they've all been pretty terrible. I don't think they're all necessarily terrible footballers, but I think they've had terrible seasons. So he's got to sort that out and get
positive on that though. If that was the worst ever, it can only get better.
No, you're right.
You
know? My only concern is, and you know, and I've been guilty of this, and everyone's saying, well, he can get the best out of these. He can get him, or he can, you know, if we can get Marcus back to 20 goals a season, if we can get Anthony Martial banging in 23 goals a season, if we can get Donny van de Beek doing what he did at Ajax, if we can get Harry Maguire doing, that's what I mean. It's if FC in it.
Yeah, if FC.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like it's not a miracle work.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks, and it's not going to be any sort of overnight success. And several of them players there, whilst they had the worst season, I don't think are good enough if United have got the ambitions to push forward for Champions League or even trying to win the Premier League. But I think that's so far off now, and I think that the pressure that's on him is to sort of try and get morale back at Old Trafford. And I think by maybe losing the ego that comes with Ronaldo and the pressures that he might put on the rest of the team, it could be a blessing. It could be a blessing in disguise. I mean, there's just no need to get hysterical over it.
No, I agree. Some good questions coming in. First one, Dave Robotham. When are you bringing back the smoking shed? Well, he's actually said, when are you bringing the smoking shed back? I don't know why I rearranged that.
Okay. When I can.
When you can.
I haven't got an answer for that at the moment. I'm vaping at the moment. Anyway, smoke. Yeah.
It needs to be agitated about something, don't you? You can't just do it on cue.
Yeah, well, my issue is because of who my main employer is that it's a bit difficult to start getting angry about certain players.
Oh, right.
Are we getting paid for this?
When I say employers, voluntary.
Voluntary. Right,
for the love.
Yeah.
Hey, as Sam Smith said. Yeah, so... Yeah, that's
so it depends. Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough. Just if you all right. I'll leave it at that. I haven't got any advice for you there. You have to work that one out.
Was that like you're on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Cheers for that. I mean, you could do it. I could write the script for you.
No, I'm following in your footsteps, and I don't want to do that because you're like very good at that sort of thing. And
ranting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are, and I get confused, and I'm not that ranty guy. I've had about 3 rants on YouTube in my life, and that's like, most people on YouTube have 3 rants a day. Do you know what I mean? I'm not very good at that sort of thing. You've got it down to a fine art. So we'll wait and see how that pans out. There'll be a way to get around it. Mo Lester, super chat. Thank you, brother.
Second one.
2 super chats, man.
Oh, we forgot the man's plaque from last week.
Oh,
I made him. I got the kids make him a plaque. We'll bring it back. Yeah.
All right, we'll get that in.
They didn't get paid for it, but.
Get them working.
Yeah, so we're going to get them. We're
starting your own little sweatshop there. You just get them grafted and that.
Yeah.
Damn right, man.
I need to take that bag back, actually. That was one of theirs.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Miss Twilight Sparkle. I don't even know if it is Twilight Sparkle. It might be Rainbow Dash. Get involved in the chat. Let us know your favourite My Little Pony is. I'm not going to lie. I do like Applejack. I know she don't fly, but who cares? Mo Lester says, if Ronnie really loved the club, wouldn't he stay and help in sorting out the issues? I feel all this ambition is just a cover-up for his selfishness. I mean, I get it. I get that. And thanks for your super chat, Matt, Mo. But, Ronnie's just a footballer at the end of the day. And can he sort out the issues? Is that his job? Are we expecting him to do that?
Mate, you've said about Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think the people pointing at him for being selfish is the reason why he was so successful at Manchester United, because he was that obsessed with him being the best. It meant that Manchester United under him were the best. And he's always, ever since day one, been about Cristiano Ronaldo. I think we mentioned before about Real Madrid being his legacy as a player. We just were along for the ride in so many ways. I don't think he owes United anything. It's not a charity shop, is it?
No, come on, it's not Make-A-Wish. Like with Ronnie, 2 of my favourite clips of Ronnie. One is at Madrid when Gareth Bale scores that overhead kick and Ronnie's fuming. Do you remember where he has a shot and he misses?
Yeah.
And the other one is when for Portugal, where he scores what would have been the goal of the century. And then as it's just about to go over the line, Nani, who's offside, heads it in. Ronnie whips off his armband, his captain armband, and throws it on the floor. Because you're right. I mean, I get the Nani one he's fuming about because it would have been a great goal. But the Bale one, your teammates just scored a great goal. Why are you fuming? You're fuming because you didn't score the goal you were trying to get. And you think, yeah, he's always been about himself. And I think that's why him and Rooney worked so well together. Because Rooney can be selfish when he needed to be, but also can be a very selfless player.
Yeah.
Like Rooney had Van Persie, Berbatov, and Cristiano Ronaldo alongside him. All 3 of them won Golden Boot. All 3 of them won the Premier League in that season as well. That's unheard of. No player's ever done that before. I don't think anyone will do it since. I think Wayne Rooney is one of those rare strikers who can get you 30 goals a season when you need him to, or can get you 20 goals a season and his teammate can get you 30 or whatever. And he did that with players who had their best seasons, certainly in the Premier League, alongside him. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Wayne Rooney, and I think he's getting a little bit more respect now than perhaps he was getting at times in his career.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I completely agree with you.
Here's a good question from Harry Larkin. These are all good questions. Keep them coming. It keeps us going. What reception do you think Ronaldo would get at OT if he came back as a Chelsea player? Hope it'd still be a positive, but doubt it would be.
I don't know how many players have gone back to Old Trafford and been booed. I can't think of that many.
No, I can't think of many. I mean, maybe Paulins.
Tevez.
Tevez. I mean, I'm probably missing Schmeichel, did he? No, I don't think he did. Should have done, but I don't think he did.
So they're usually quite respectful.
Yeah.
You'll get some dickheads, and I just think if they are going to boo him because he's in a Chelsea shirt, it's just.
I mean, that's not
says more about them.
That's not inflammatory to me.
No.
You know what I mean? If someone's coming back in the Chelsea shirt, who left when he was 37, I'm not that deep. It's not that deep.
Well, nobody did it about Mark Hughes, did they, when he went to Chelsea?
And he celebrated like
or Mal Donoghue.
Good knowledge there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep, is it? And it's like, all right, it's not great, and you know, probably prefer it if he didn't stay in the Premier League. If you're being brutally honest, probably better if he just went somewhere like.
That's that. Why not go Bayern?
Would they have him though?
If Lewandowski is supposedly going to.
Do you know what? Do you think that he might fancy Bayern? Because we were talking about this again today. Forgive me for repeating it, but he's done it in Portugal, Spain, England, obviously, Italy. Go to Germany and potentially being a top scorer there or winning a title there.
He's easily winning the title there, isn't he?
Oh, but by me, it's just that's a one-horse race if I've ever seen one. Going there and winning a title
makes more sense to me.
That cements you done it as the all-time great.
Well, for me it does anyway because of the other countries that it's done compared to Lionel Messi.
Would you put him? Is it you and him and Messi your top two? Because I know you're a big Diego fan. Is that?
I always find it difficult to compare players from different eras of the game. It was just a completely different game. But I don't think without Maradona, there is no Lionel Messi.
I struggle to disagree with that, to be honest with you. Santa Notch says best case scenario it goes to France, but not to PSG.
There is literally nobody else in France that could afford him.
Yeah, he goes, I don't know, Leon or something.
Neymar's coming to United anyway, I'm telling you now.
Me and you were chatting about this on Round Our Way. Make sure you check that out on Stretford Paddock, 4 o'clock every Wednesday. Me and Scotty, Round Our Way. And it is spelt the right way, in case anyone goes, hang on a minute, why have you spelt R like that? If you know, you know. Colin says, Rooney actually made a point about the investment. This isn't some anti-Glazer gesture by Ronaldo. Yeah, do you remember when Rooney wanted to go and, you know, I think people would turn up at his house and all sorts. But he said about the lack of investment in the team and we were getting left behind. And I think he said in his book or in an interview, you know, when, like, Ronaldo left and Tevez left and he was like, what's going on? And he went to see Ferguson. Ferguson told him, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, mind your own business, nothing to do with you. Miles says Ronaldo having his very own Independence Day. Oh, yeah, it's Independence Day today, isn't it?
What's this thing doing?
Oh, hang on a minute. Chuck us that. Can you chuck us that? Yeah, it's all right. Still my singles, fine. With you can do that. And
just okay.
Yeah. Press the button. Sorry, we're just having some technical things here. This is the worst remote in the world, by the way. So don't be alarmed. We're just sorting this out as we go.
Maybe.
Oh, there you go. Now the telly's gone off. Oh, hang on a minute. Sash, if you can turn this on. Oh, yeah, thanks. Someone, can you sort that out? Yeah,
all right.
Just leave it on my single. Just turn it on. It should come on in a minute. Yeah, don't worry about that. Some gremlins in the machine, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Get involved in the chat anyway and let us know what you think. Loads of people commenting. Paul Roper, or Roll Popper, says Ronaldo always wanted to be where Ruud van Nistelrooy was at Real Madrid. John B says, I'm starting this now from the beginning. Sorry if you're talking about something dead serious. This was an inappropriate, light-hearted question. We never talk about anything serious here. Don't worry about it. Paul Roper also says, remember the conflicts with Beckham, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rooney. Yeah, I think he's talking about, there was a bit of aggravation between Ronaldo and Ruud van Nistelrooy. I remember when Fergie sort of sided with Ronnie and everyone was like, that's mental.
Yeah, and that was the end of Van Nistelrooy, wasn't it?
Yeah, remember? And I might have been one of them. I was like, oh, really? But he was right to do so. It's weird, isn't it? Because you remember when Ronnie and Rooney had that bit of a tiff in the World Cup? And I remember at the time, most people would have backed Rooney then. Most United fans I spoke to at the time were like, if one of them's got to go, just keep Rooney.
I was the other way around.
Was you?
Yeah.
Because I think that was just before Ronnie exploded, wasn't
it?
Yeah. And Rooney had shown more up to then to make you think, out of the two, he's
and I think
the
press went fucking hell for leather with that one, though, didn't it? It made far more than it was. It was a wink, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was
no...
the best player in the team you're playing against has just been sent off. And you're winking to your teammates saying, nice one.
If me and you were playing against each other and you got sent off, I'd be taking the piss right
of course
out of
you would.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And rightly so. It's especially in a World Cup quarter final.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to go, say what, I'll get myself sent off as well to even it for you. What are we doing? And it's just like the English press just love to demonise Manchester United players, whether it's Beckham, whether it's Phil Neville, or even when it's Ronaldo playing against us. It's just some weird nonsense. Emma Kay says, if we sell him to Chelsea, then he has to take the number 9. You were saying that though, weren't you? But I mean, the number 9 shirt at Chelsea, who's had it? Lukaku just had it.
I'm not too sure.
I
mean, it'd be taking Lukaku's place, wouldn't it? And how many goals did Lukaku get last season?
Was it 7?
Maybe.
Is that the worst transfer ever, that?
Lukaku?
To Chelsea. 100 mil, right? I think they were top of the league when he arrived. The wheels come off. I'm not saying it's all down to him, but he doesn't help. Scores, what, about 7 goals. Let's just say 7 for the sake of it. I'll find out in a minute. And then you sell him back. He also, not long after he arrives, says that he didn't want to be here. Says he wanted to stay at Inter Milan, right? So he upsets everyone, upsets the dressing room, upsets his manager, everyone, right? Then does nothing in. He gets to finals. He don't do anything in them. I think they got to the FA Cup final and the League Cup final. Didn't do anything in either of them. He scores. Yeah, I've got the numbers here now in front of me. He scores 8 Premier League goals. He's not disastrous.
He started well though, to be fair to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the thing with Lukaku is on paper his record last season. He's 15 goals in 44 games, right? So it's far from disastrous. Let's be honest. But it's the nature of those goals, and this is the problem I used to have with Lukaku at United. Is he scored 42 goals in 96 games, which you look at and you go, that's not a bad return. But he scored something like 9 in his first 10 games and then doesn't score for the next 8 games. And those 8 games came against the top 6. So when you need him in those big games, he just didn't turn up.
Yeah.
And then you had the game against City at Old Trafford where he had a hand in both City goals. Do you remember when he was defending a corner? So sometimes it's
But they love him. They love him at Inter Milan, though. Obviously, won the Scudetto over there and stuff. And he's a massive fan.
He's done well. Just looking at players that could come in for Ronaldo, because you like your Italy. There was talk maybe the kid from Torino, Belletti. Do you think he could do a job? I think his record's quite decent. They wanted £86 million from him.
£86 million
a few years ago.
Oh,
now he's on a free.
Yeah. I'd probably take anyone on a free at the moment. I'm quite happy that we got Eriksen today. I think that's
I wanted to ask you about that because you're a bit of a fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, what I like about Eriksen as well is he's got the ability, he's got that experience. He also seems like he might be a good person to have around the dressing room. Maybe you need a few more like that. Do you know what I mean?
I quite like Danny Murphy writing him off today on Talk.
Oh wow, what's he said?
Well, he was just saying that I'd be underwhelmed if I'm a Manchester United fan because he's not the sort of player that's gonna take United to match Liverpool or City. But there isn't a player out there that United could sign this summer that will be able to do that. So he was already sort of saying that he'll come in and be a bit part player for United. But I think he's a fantastic talent, and it'd be interesting to see how he plays alongside Bruno. And if he can, some people are saying he might be the backup to Bruno. It's a long season, do you know what I mean? We plays in and out of the squad. But I'm happy to see him come to Old Trafford. I think we should have got him years ago. He's 30 years old. Might be the wrong time of his career that won't get the best out of him. But I think he's got the talent there. And when we are penny pinching because of Glazeronomics, take these players as and when you can. Another one that I'd like to see that I don't think would actually come to United because there's rumours that he might go to AC Milan. And I think he's only 27, is Dybala from...
Paulo Dybala, yeah, we were talking about him today.
From Juventus. And
he's been linked with United a lot, hasn't he, over the years? I think it's cooled now a little bit. There was a time when it looked like he was on his way, didn't he?
I saw this kid when he played for Palermo years ago, and he was in linked with Juventus and obviously made the move up north. And he's phenomenal, brilliant. He's a bit injury prone, but he's a fantastic talent, really good talent. And there was rumours that he was going to be joining Mourinho when he was at Spurs. That was another heavy link. But it looks like he may be going to AC Milan. I mean, it's a free contract now, isn't it? So you can wield your oyster.
Someone just commented in the chat, and they're telling you the truth because I've checked. Bruno Fernandes has just done a tweet. Some people saying it might be subtweeting towards Ronaldo. He says, fresh start. New chapter begins, and then one of those emojis, your arm, bicep emojis, and a picture of himself smiling. Do you think that is a little bit of a...
There are conspiracy theories that them two don't actually get along.
Can you buy into that?
Having watched the Portugal national team, they don't actually play... He doesn't start a lot, does he, Fernandes?
No, he's very much in and out of the team.
And the Portuguese team is very much a Cristiano Ronaldo team. And if you want to look at any sort of negative effect that Ronaldo might have had, Fernandes' worst season last year for United.
Yeah, it is weird because, there's times where you look at it and you go, okay, they seem to get on the chart on the pitch, and when it kicks off against the Scousers.
But this is Portuguese, like...
Yeah, that's the point I'm getting to. Yeah. When it kicks off against Scousers, Bruno was straight over there. But that's Bruno's nature anyway, and also that is your teammate and your countryman and someone you obviously, have an affinity with because you speak the native tongue. Because remember, there was all these talks of cliques in the dressing room. And I always wondered about that because people saying, oh, well, Delo and Bruno and Ronaldo and Fred.
Or Tellez as well.
Yeah, and I think, well, if you've got people in your dressing room who speak your first language, then you might chat to them a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Or you might just find it a little bit more comfortable speaking your first choice language or whatever. Doesn't mean you're necessarily ignoring everyone else or that you're forming some sort of gang.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I just think it's a little bit naive to think that just because you speak the same language as somebody else, that would automatically mean that you're going to be mates. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean,
you
like,
might
yeah.
have any common ground. If you're in a pub and there's you, Tommy Robinson, and two Italians who don't speak a word of English, are you going to be just mates with Tommy Robinson just because you can speak English?
Depends what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, if the Italians are bragging about Euro 2020, then you know what I mean, Tommy might be like, "Hey, tell you what." No, obviously no. I mean, I wouldn't. I just wonder though. My point is like, does that sort of stuff get exaggerated because these guys are chatting? Maybe they are just chatting in their own language, and then people go, "Oh, that's a click." Do you know what I mean? When it isn't a click, that's my point.
How precious are these people that feel that way though?
You tell me. These are the stories we were getting. Clicks were forming, but were they? That's what I'm getting at.
I don't know.
I just find it a bit like, you know, they might have certain friendship bonds. From what we gather, Pogba and Bruno were close. Was that a click? I don't think so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just two lads who got on. I think Pogba helped Bruno find his house and showed him around Manchester. Doesn't mean they were in a gang.
I think when you're looking at things that Ten Hag's got to do next season, these sort of leaks regarding clicks and stuff that was going in the dressing room need to be addressed straight away because that just spiraled fucking well.
We're still hearing now, aren't we? We're hearing stories about players are feeling the relief now. Ronnie's going, and then people go, "That's Maguire," and that's what's that mean? Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
just when did football turn into such a soap opera? We're not on Coronation Street. Do you know what I mean? It's like ooh, that became like. I'm not looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to who's going to do the leak so I can play Cluedo of the dressing room. It's just a little bit. It's not, you know,
it does get embarrassing, doesn't it, when you read these stories? And I just think that, like, is that really a thing? We've got a super chat. I see what you've done here. His name is Ice Wallow. Come.
Nice.
He says, Jay, how's life during these down 4 years after experiencing so much success? We have become what the Scousers were in the 2000s. History is all we got now. It does feel a bit like, I'm not going to lie, and, you know, kind of embrace it. I do go on about history quite a lot myself because, yeah, at the minute, it's all we've got. We've not got much to look forward to. Where do you think United are going to finish next season?
Next season, yeah. I'd be in the state that they're in now with no Ronaldo, as it looks. I think we'll finish 5th or 6th.
Yeah. But you'll be all right. I know you're not going to be buzzing and finish 6th, but can you accept that? Can you still back the manager for another season after that?
Because, I mean, like we said throughout this podcast, I just think that he's got such a difficult job on his hands that to put any more pressure on him to finish top 4 would just be ridiculous. We're still not signed De Jong. God knows how long that's going to go on for, if indeed it does. I do wonder whether Ten Hag's realised that he might have bit off more than he can chew, though, with what's happening so far.
I mean, he couldn't have gone... he could have gone worse, but he's got such a lot to deal with. It is amazing how much he's got to sort of handle at the minute.
Yeah.
I know as a United manager, you've always got a lot. We get that. But you think, you know, your top scorer wants to leave. You've lost all these players. You know, I don't know what's happened with the Frankie de Jong situation. And I gather that looks like it's going to happen. At least we've got Christian Eriksen. And it looks like the kid Malacia, although... You know, Malacia looks like he's just going to be a backup left back, so I don't want to get too sort of carried away with that one. But there's quite a lot going on. And then, like we were saying earlier, you've got to try and get a tune out of some of these players that weren't great last season, but hopefully, you know, he can do that. And he's certainly got a good reputation of getting the best out of certain players, hasn't he? I mean, that Ajax team that he got going was some of them players.
and they weren't like world beaters in names, you know, they weren't a team full of Ballon d'Or winners, were they? I mean, what I'd like to see would be more performances on the pitch than actually challenging for anything next season. I think that I can try and maybe speak in the majority of Man United fans, is that it was the lack of effort that was being seen on the pitch, wasn't it? And I think that if we can improve that, I don't mind failing as long as we're trying our hardest on the pitch.
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, it would be nice to see some nice football for a bit, wouldn't it? Like something that's going on. Do you know what I mean? Like we had it for... Do you remember that Crystal Palace game against under Ralph Rangnick?
Yeah.
40 minutes, mate. I was like, this is happening. This is it. Gegenpress and all that, yeah.
I believe.
Hey, I believe. This is what we've been waiting for, the old Gegenpress. Check it out. And then that by half time, they were knackered. And by the second half, they, you know, all but giving up, though your boy Fred popped up with the winner. And then that was the end of that, wasn't it? I mean, I think Ralph Rangnick realised.
That was the highlights reel of Ralph. Like, you get the first half of Palace on a DVD.
I was like, yes, this is great. And then, no, that's your lot. They're either knackered or they don't get it or they can't be bothered, whatever. It just wasn't happening. A couple of chats we'll go to before we wrap up. Eric Nigel Grow says, Jay, don't you remember the disruptive dressing room click of Mata Herrera De Gea? Do you remember that like love triangle? Yeah, I mean, Also, Fresh Prince says, 5th or 6th, you've been generous. Without Ronaldo last season, we'd have been bottom half. So you think we can still finish that high? I don't think so. A lot depends on transfers and how these players respond to Erik ten Hag. We don't know how this is going to look. We'll have to wait and see anyway. But we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the chat and the comments. Loads of great comments. Loads of you got involved. I think there's about 400 odd watching, which is great. Great to see you supporting Scotty and Motty. Scotty, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
On Twitter at Arkid, ARGH Kid. Back here next Monday, isn't it? We've got another podcast, but you're away to Bangkok.
I'm going to Bangkok.
Why have you got such a look of disappointment on your face?
Got to go to Bangkok and that, graft and that, innit?
Thailand
Working
and that.
Thailand and that, and then after that, got to go to Australia.
Australia?
Things I do for that Stretford Paddock channel.
I'll be in Salford Keys. Woo!
Listen, don't knock it, right? Tell you what, Sydney Opera House or Salford Keys, which is better?
Well, they call the Lowry the Sydney Opera House of the North.
They do, actually. It's usually after lots of spice. Anyway, we'll leave it there. That's been Scotty. I've been Marty. Thanks for watching.